Hi guys. So for history class, let's make this clear. You have a My State notebook and you also have a yellow book. I don't have the copy, I just have the pages inside, so I don't know the title on the front, but you have a book that's similar to this size and skinniness, and it is yellow. So find that book because you're going to use it today. Did you notice on the class wall there were some directions? On there, you are going to open up in your yellow book that's like this, and you're going to find the pictures. It tells you right there underneath there's an attachment, and it's a picture of the pictures you're going to find. So you're going to use that, you're going to cut those out, and you're going to glue. Now, we're going to talk about cutting and gluing. When you cut, you can cut it out. You can cut it out, like let's say that you were going to cut this out. You could cut on the outside like that, and then once it's out of your page, then you can neatly cut on the lines. You want to make your lines nice and straight. When you glue, you don't want to use a lot of glue because the more glue you use, the bumpier it will be when it goes to dry. If it's full of glue on the back, your paper will just crinkle and it won't be nice and flat. So don't use too much glue, but you need some glue to make sure that it sticks. Okay, so keep that in mind. Cutting very carefully and neatly and putting enough glue that it's going to stick, but not globs of glue that it's going to turn your paper wrinkly. All right, so you're finding that yellow book and you're going to use that today. You're also going to use your My State notebook that I just showed you. I want you to open to page 15. So find page 15. If you need to pause me, you could. And if you'll notice, this flag is waving. And so when you go to draw your flag today, you say, Mrs. Lamontagne, I don't know what our flag looks like. Well, you're going to use your yellow book to find a picture of our flag. And you are going to, right down here, it tells you, you're going to draw in the special features of your flag and color it. But if you notice, this isn't just a perfect rectangle, it is blowing in the breeze. So when you go to draw your lines today, you're going to kind of follow this line up here. So instead of drawing a line going straight and another one coming down here and going straight, you're actually going to do, are you watching? You're going to go like this and follow the wave. And when you come down here, follow the wave of your waving flag. All right, now remember, use a pencil first. When you draw your lines and you draw your big C in the center, use your pencil so that you can make sure that it looks the way you want it to look. If you start using your crayon or your colored pencil right away, it's going to be kind of hard to erase that. So you could always trace over it with your colors when you think it looks right. Okay, let me show you our flag, even though you're going to find it in your book today. Isn't that cool? It's one of the few flags that people actually wear. I don't know if you've ever seen other people's state flags. Like, I'm from Connecticut. We don't wear our state flag. But a lot of people in Colorado wear our state flag proudly on all sorts of things. I know you've probably seen our flag on t-shirts and hats and mugs and all sorts of things. But Connecticut flag, I'd really have to look that up. I couldn't tell you exactly what it looked like because nobody wants to wear our state flag. So we have a pretty cool flag. Not every state likes to proudly wear their flag. So I think that's pretty cool. Speaking of which, I have a really interesting flag story that I'm going to tell you soon. Very interesting about how our flag came about. Very strange. So you stay tuned for that. All right. Let's see. In your yellow book, also, I want you to find Lesson 7. So at the top, this is my state notebook, but you're going to find your yellow book, and at the top you'll see where it says lesson, and then it'll have a lesson number. So you're also going to look for lesson 7, and when you find that page, you're going to notice that that is where our state song is. And you are going to turn into your My State notebook, and you're going to copy some of our state song down here on page 13. So you're going to use your yellow book to find lesson 7, and when you find it in your yellow book, it will be our state song. You're going to fill in the top, and then down here it says, here are the words to my state song. You're not going to write the whole thing. Are you listening? I'm only going to have you write the first verse, which you'll see it looks like a paragraph. So you'll write the first verse and then the chorus. Okay, that's all I want you to write. You might see 3 or 4 verses, but you're only going to write the first verse and the chorus. And I want you to be careful. You're going to copy it neatly. Watch for capitalization. Watch for punctuation. Watch for spelling. All right, so when you do that, you're going to copy it very neatly here. I don't mind if you have to use a lot of lines, but just make sure that you're careful about those things that we just talked about. Okay, so that's what you're going to do today as well. And let's review a little bit about the different things we've learned so far. So our state flower is, class, you can say it, the columbine. I hope that's what you just said. Our state motto is, class, nil sine numine, nothing without deity. Or you might have said nothing without providence. Or you might have said nothing without God. Our state bird, class, the lark bunting. Our state song, where the columbines grow. If you haven't, I don't know if I've told you that name title yet. I think I have before. Our state tree is the blue spruce. Maybe you have one in your backyard. It looks like a Christmas tree, but it kind of looks a little bluish, grayish. It's the blue spruce. And so the blue spruce was actually found on one of our 14ers, Pikes Peak. And I don't know if I told you Pikes Peak. Remember the one that has the cog rail and the hot fresh donuts at the top? Well, Pikes Peak is down by Colorado Springs. So I don't know if I told you where it was located. And then our flag, you're going to take care of that. Our seal, remember our seal? We just said this is what it has on it. And 1876 is the year that our state became a state. It was a territory, and then it became a state in 1876. And today we're going to talk about our nickname. Our state's nickname is Centennial State. And that became its nickname because in 1776, the United States declared its independence. 100 years later, in 1876, our state became a state after it was a territory. And then, just a little fact, 100 years later, in 1976, your teacher, me, was born. So you have 1776, then 100 years later, 1876. So on our 100th year birthday, the United States had a birthday, it was 100 years old, and our state became a state. And then 100 years later, in 1976, your teacher was born. So I thought that was unique. That's on page 17 in your My State notebook. You're going to write my state's nickname, Centennial State. So here is how you spell Centennial, capital CENTENNIAL, Centennial State. And this nickname was probably chosen because it signed into the Union 100 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Okay, so you're going to fill that in as well. That's page 17 in my state notebook. All right, let's talk about a little bit of a review. All right, we have our borders. We have Wyoming, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona, and Utah. We have our interstates. We have I-25. We have I-70. Our capital is Denver. Our rivers is the South Platte River, the Arkansas River, the Rio Grande River, and the Colorado River. Some of our cities, we have Fort Collins, Boulder, of course, Denver, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Durango, Glenwood Springs, and Grand Junction. Do you remember me saying that Mount Elbert is the tallest 14er in Colorado? And then our 4 different monuments or state parks or national parks. We have Rocky Mountain National Park, Dinosaur National Monument, Mesa Verde National Park, Great Sand Dunes National Park, and Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park. All right, so you go back and read the directions on our class wall and look at the picture and find that in your yellow book. All right, see you later.